America is deeply divided. There are only two sides to every issue, and there is no interest in finding common ground, not even with members of your own family. But as the 2024 presidential election looms on the horizon, there has never been a more important time to have the necessary conversation.
Welcome to the Necessary Conversation. I'm Chad Kultgen. We got a bit of a different episode today. My dad is not here. Only my mom and my sister Haley are joining me. And today, I don't think we're going to talk about politics because we're recording this on Sunday, May 12th, which is Mother's Day. Both of you are mothers. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, Chad.
So I just wanted to talk about some motherly things for an hour. Mom, I have this question for you.
Oh, Lord.
I would
Haley,
like
are you sick? Sorry, Chad. Are you
No
sick,
problem.
Haley?
A little bit.
Oh, God.
A mother can never stop being a mother. Now,
No.
I would like you to tell the stories of when, first of all, when did you first become a mother, Mom?
The day I guess you were born.
Can
And
you
the day Haley was born.
walk us through that day? It was a hot summer day in June 1976. What was it like?
It was not a hot day.
Oh.
It was dreary and rainy. Your father was in the military. He was in the Air Force. He was supposed to be home about 4 o'clock in the afternoon from his job on the base. We lived 15 miles away approximately. And he called me at about 2. He said, I'll be home at 4. But he said, I'll stop maybe by the commissary too and get some food. I said, okay.
Hang on. Let's get some context here. How old are you?
How old was I? Shit.
20.
20 or 21? Was I
Yeah.
20?
I think
Okay.
20 or 21. So you were very young when you had your first kid.
Yes.
Take me through this psychologically, emotionally. Were you scared? Did you guys plan to have me? What was the deal?
You were planned because we were in love and we wanted to have a baby.
At
You were
20.
planned.
And Dad was how old? 22 or something?
We got married May 30th, 1975. And you came approximately 76 of June. So within 3 months of us being married, I was pregnant. 3 months after.
And you wished this?
We did want a baby. Yes. We didn't do any birth control because we wanted a baby and we were in love.
Why do you say love like that?
Because that's why we had you. You're a love child.
I thought you were like mocking it.
Yeah.
No. We both had 2 years of college.
Yeah.
And your dad really went back into the Air Force to get the GI Bill. And I knew I wanted to finish my last 2 years too. I think the only thing that we did bad when we did move to Spokane to have you, those 9 months where I just kind of sit around waiting to have a baby, I could have went to college. There was a college right down the street. I probably could have walked it. It was that close, and I should have went to college. We lived in Cheney, Washington.
Okay. And so take us through the day. When you first become a mother, what was this day like?
I woke up the 2 days prior. I had been sleeping 24 hours a day, and I knew that wasn't right. I was really, really tired. I gained a lot of weight in that whole last week. I had one checkup. Doctor said, you look great. See you in a little bit. You're going to have that baby soon. And the first day too that I had seen a doctor that he said, you're pregnant. This is approximately your due date. He said June 16th. So like every day up to June 16th, which is the day you were born, we'd look at my stomach. Is he going to be born today? I don't know. Is he going to be born today? I don't know. And we did know you were going to be a boy. We did want to know that, all that. So that day it was kind of dreary out. But before that too, was I scared? Heck yes, I was scared. How are we going to get that big thing out of me? Everybody gets scared for their first baby. Of course, you don't know how this is all going to happen. We did do one child birth class, And I remember this old lady, it was in a basement of a dark and dreary church in Spokane, Washington. And this lady said, honey, all you got to do is relax. Your body will just take over. Just relax. And that's what I tried to do.
Hmm.
I mean, we had that breathing stuff I was doing and all that. But anyway, okay. So that day, dreary, Dad said, I'll be home after I get groceries at 4 at 3:30. And see, we didn't have cell phones and stuff back then. At 3:30, I started to get really, really bad back pain. Like, oh my God. I was like, what the hell here's going on? So I just started walking little circles around one bean bag that we had in the middle of the floor. That's all the furniture. And we had a small couch. Started walking and walking and walking. And all of a sudden, boom, the water broke. My water broke. I was like, oh God. And Dad wasn't there. And we're 15 minutes from the base where they're going to deliver you. So I didn't know what to do. I kept walking like a dummy, and Dad did get home probably 25 minutes later. I said, it's time, let's go. He's like, time, what? Oh God. Anyway, so we get there. He drove quite fast, and we got there, checked in, everything's fine. It was time. They wheeled me down. This was approximately 3.5 hours later. I mean, I was still having a lot of pain, but no big deal. I was giving nothing for pain. They did put an IV in my arm, and that did hurt. Wheeled me down to the delivery table. This doctor, an older doctor who'd been there forever, said, oops, this baby is sunny side up.
What's that?
What the hell does that mean? He said, that's why you had all the back pain. We have to turn him. He was sunny side up. Your face was the wrong direction. I go, okay, how are we going to do this? He goes, well, just hang on. Went and they don't even use these anymore, forceps. It causes very bad damage to your brain and your head.
Nice.
That went inside of me, plus his hands, turned you to the right way, pulled you out. And as he pulled you out, you were going to the bathroom already, number 2, all over.
Yes.
And the doctor said, he was in there a little bit too long. No shit. And I had I think it's called preeclampsia, I think, where all of those toxins you were pooping inside me.
Hell yeah.
And that's why I got really sick the last 2 days and couldn't wake up almost.
That's the gift that keeps on giving. That's what you get for being a mom. All right. So that day, you come home. Let me ask you this. During your whole pregnancy and stuff, how was Dad? Was he helpful?
Yeah, but I mean, I was very healthy, so I didn't really need any help. Yeah, he was fine. He was excited. Our first baby going to be born, of course. Very excited. All
right.
Now, wait, after they pulled you out, you had the football head. You came out. Dad held you first. You did have a football head. I had a couple stitches, nothing bad. And the doctor looked at me and said, you want to walk back to your room? I said, I guess. He put my feet on the floor, propped me up, said, there you go. It was an Air Force hospital. You didn't have much pampering. Walked back to my room. 2 days later, or 1.5 days later, the nurse came in and said, would you like a shower or a bath? I said, oh, that'd be wonderful. She said, here's the comment. Here's the scrub brush. It's down there. Clean everything up after you're done.
Holy shit.
Air Force hospital. I told Dad, get me out of here. Let's go home. And we did. Grabbed you out of the nursery and off we went.
So you didn't take the comet shower?
No, I did not. I waited till I got home.
Okay. And then some 4.5 years roughly later, you become a mother again to Haley, who is sitting here coughing through every second of this podcast.
She was also planned. We knew we wanted another baby. Got off birth control. I'm trying to think when I found out I was pregnant with her. And I think I called Dad at work and said, yep, we're pregnant. He was happy. I was happy. My pregnancy with her, very, very easy. I taught school right up until about, I think, a week before she came. This time I said, I'm going to be pampered. That Air Force hospital was crap. And some people told me too, me walking back like that, I could have hemorrhaged to death.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. That's the way they did it back then. So Haley, and I didn't like the IV. It hurt. I didn't want one of those. So I wanted to wait until the last minute before we had to go to the hospital with Haley. We ran out of toilet paper. It was a Saturday morning. I called my mom. I said, hey, we're going to go to the hospital maybe for a check. I've had a few pains during the night, but nothing bad. Could you watch chat? My mom said, of course. Off chat went down to Nanny's house to watch cartoons on a Saturday morning. It was probably 8:30. We dump off Chad at 8:45. We stopped at 7-Eleven because we ran out of toilet paper.
There
Dad
was no
ran in.
7-Eleven in Great Bend, Kansas.
Yes, on Broadway. Dad grabbed the toilet paper. It might have been called something else, but it was like a 7-Eleven. Yeah. Grabbed the toilet paper. Now it's about 5 minutes till 9 in the morning. I said, okay, let's go. I feel some pain now. Let's go. We get to the hospital at 9 a.m. We hit the front of the hospital door at 9 a.m. Your sister was born at 9:16 a.m.
Wow.
It was crazy. It was like, sign your name. Get me up there. I've got to go. I'm pushing. No, you're not. Get on the gurney. No, I'm pushing. Get on the gurney. 3 pushes and out she came. And the doctor was barely there to catch her.
And now you have 47 years of motherhood under your belt. My first question is, who is your favorite child?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
There's
funny.
One simple answer. Simple answer here will
both
do.
Of you. You don't pick
It's me.
One over the other.
It's me.
Yeah. You don't pick one over the other. You're my firstborn baby boy, and she's my firstborn baby girl.
And what
and
do
when
you
she,
consider?
Wait, when you popped out, they go, oh, football head. Haley popped out. She's beautiful.
And
beautiful.
Now how quickly
and I think
the tables
we know who
turned.
the favorite is.
How quickly the tables turned after that. Maybe as children, as babies, she outbeautied me, but then very quickly that changed. Now, Let me ask this, Mom, as a mother, give me 2 of your favorite moments of being a mom.
Oh.
1 for each of us, or 2 for me. Those are the only combinations I'll accept.
Wow. 2 for you. What?
Yeah, you can have 2 moments for me or 1 for each of us, but not 2 for Haley.
A favorite moment, you mean?
Yeah, where you were like, I'm really glad I'm a mom.
When the day you were born. I've never stopped not wanting to be a mother.
Aside from days that we were born.
How about that day you let me skip school and we went and played tennis and got caught and they put it in the newspaper?
What? Oh, yeah. I don't remember this. What is
that
this?
Would be a favorite. Ugh.
I do.
I was teaching at Amarillo High School, and Haley didn't want to go to school for some reason, whatever. So I let her stay home. What grade would you have been in? Elementary school, right?
Yeah. If it was in Amarillo.
Elementary school. I said, okay, let's go to the park.
Amarillo. It wasn't Amarillo. It was Carrollton, wasn't it?
No, it was the park right by our house on Linda. Linda Drive.
Remember that park?
Yes. And I said, let's go play some tennis. Remember the park where Haley rode her bike and hit the pole and knocked herself out? That place on Linda Drive.
Yeah.
Okay, so we went and played a little tennis, and this lady comes by with a camera and says, would you mind if I take a picture? I said, no, that'd be fine. So she took pictures of me and Haley playing tennis there in that little tennis court. It was Paramount Park was the name of it. And lo and behold, and I had taken a day off too from school to stay home with her to have fun. Lo and behold, and I called in sick. There was our picture in the newspaper.
So was the person who took the picture like a beat reporter, like breaking the big news of the Amarillo High tennis coach skipping school?
Because it was a nice sunny day. Yes.
Holy shit.
And I'm supposed to be sick.
All right. Well, what has been your proudest moment of each one of us? Tell me that.
The graduations, college, high school, Haley.
No, you get one moment for each of us.
Haley becoming a mother, probably on Harper Lou's when she told us the F word 27 times, because I knew that would be her last baby. Haley becoming a mother.
Okay. What about me?
Dad.
I'm not a mother.
No. Probably your graduation at USC. That was very like wowie woo woo, and the Stevie Nicks song playing with the drums, and that
I
was
have no
fun.
memory of that. All right. So that was your proudest moment of me is college graduation. For Haley, it was her third baby.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Haley, let's turn the lens to you, another mother here today on Mother's Day. Walk us through your first motherhood. This would have been Roman, who is now just completed his first year of college.
Mm-hmm. Um, Jesus. Okay. I was 23.
So another young mother that runs in our family. Why? And was that a choice or was that accidental?
No, all of our kids were planned.
Okay, so you were like,
Uh,
I'm 23. It's time to start breeding.
Because
yeah,
we're
I
strong
knew I
women.
wanted kids. I knew
Mhm.
I wanted kids, and I didn't know how many I wanted, but I know I wanted them all like fucking out before I was 30.
Okay, got it. So you plan this
Um,
siring.
yeah, so I was home watching that the spinoff of Friends called Joey.
Friends. Friends.
You
Oh
remember
God,
Love
I
that?
Joey.
remember Joey. Yeah, I
Yep.
remember that.
Yep.
Right. So, hugely pregnant, like no real complications. I got real big and fat. That was about it with Roman, but like
Mhm.
no real complications of any kind. So it was pretty easy. Um, I was home watching Joey. So it was like probably 6 or 7. C Dub was getting his MBA at the time. So he was doing night classes after a full day of work up at TCU.
Mhm.
And I was watching Joey, and there was an audible pop, like, and I just kind of like,
Holy
what
shit.
the fuck? Yeah, like an audible pop, water fucking everywhere, all over the couch. I stand up, it doesn't stop. So I'm just like kind of waddling to the bathroom, and a trail is
Oh
just
God.
following me. And like, okay, so I call C Dub, but he's in class. So I left a message. And then I called mom and dad and I said, so my water broke. Should probably come get me to the fucking hospital.
And you
So I
guys
have to
lived
put
in the
on
same
like,
town for context. You lived
yeah,
like
they
five
lived
minutes
like
away.
5 minutes away from
Yeah.
us. So I changed all my clothes, put on like 30 fucking pads, 12 pairs of underwear, 3 pairs of pants. Like it's leaking everywhere, a towel wrapped around me. They pull up. Dad has like the back seat is fucking like blanket on towel. I think he made me sit on phone books.
Didn't.
Because he doesn't want you to get the back
I
seat
cannot
soiled or
get
what?
amniotic fluid in the car. So there's
Yeah.
just, I'm sitting on like fucking, 2 feet of like just padding.
I
Yeah.
don't
Um,
remember that.
oh, I fucking remember that. And so we get to the hospital. They get me back in my room or whatever. C Dub shows up, like an hour later. I'm in the throes of labor at this point, very painful. I think I'm like 4 or 5 centimeters.
Mhm.
Mom's crying because I'm in so much pain. She's like, get her the epidural, just get her the epidural. Um, so I get the epidural, but it doesn't work. So they've jabbed me in my spine. I'm
Oh,
kind of numb, not really. And I'm also having contractions, which is probably the most painful thing I've ever experienced.
yeah.
So the contractions, the jab to the fucking spine, it's not really working. So they redo it. They
Oh
Jabbed her
redo
to
the
the
God.
fucking jab to the spine.
Yeah.
That time they
Oh.
inject me with so much
Ugh.
fucking medication. I am 100% numb from bottom of the rib cage to my toes. I can't move. I feel paralyzed. So I feel like I've been overdosed.
Yeah.
Uh, Also not pleasant. So when they say, "Oh, you're a fucking 10, time to push," I have no control of like any of the muscles in my body to push.
Yeah.
Haley, wasn't
So
Roman the one too where the nurse was playing God and she wouldn't call the doctor till way late?
yeah, our nurse was real bad. It took me like 3 hours to finally push him out, and they had to come in with the thing called a kiwi. It's like a fucking vacuum seal that they jam on his head and like
Suck him out.
aid him out.
Better than
So he
forceps.
also had what I mean, it's kind of like that. So he had a massive cone head. He was ugly as shit. He looked like a fucking I don't like a skinned rabbit, red and just I don't know.
And
You
but
think your child is like the prettiest thing you've ever seen, but looking back, in
Haley,
retrospect, he was hideous.
Haley, when he came out, he was this was the
He was
sound he was making.
tachycardic.
Yeah, he was going
He
he
was
couldn't breathe. I was like,
Yeah, he was
oh my
tachycardic
God.
because he had been in there so long. So they took him off to the ICU.
Conrad went with him to the ICU and we stayed with Haley.
Wow.
Yeah. So they took him to ICU. Oh yeah, mom and dad were in there, by the way, for the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
For the
They were
whole birth.
pushing and pulling on you too. They were making her like go over a bar, pull on this towel. This nurse thought knew what she didn't know anything. She didn't know what she was doing.
What's this nurse's name?
Yeah, it was pretty intense.
Nurse Ratchet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He was in the NICU for hours, not like days or anything. Mm-hmm. And then finally, like, he was breathing normal. They let me have him. Everything was fine. I think I left, I don't know, maybe a day later, 24 hours. I don't know.
2 days.
The stay in the hospital was not unpleasant. I didn't have to scrub my own tub or anything. Everybody was very nice, gave me all the things I needed. Mm-hmm. It was fine.
And now this first experience is not enough to deter you. You do this 2 more times. What were those experiences like?
Pretty much the same.
No, they were easier. All of my labors were pretty easy in terms of like almost textbook. I get the contractions, either my water breaks or it doesn't. But I mean, I was maybe in labor for 5-6 hours, which is
and you did get the
long.
epidurals. From that point forward, you got them earlier.
Yeah, and they did it right. So
they did it
feel
correct,
things and so Willow's birth was pretty normal, run of the mill. Same with Harper. Nothing like crazy or traumatic.
All right. And now, as a mom of 3 kids, who is your favorite, first of all?
I don't have a favorite.
Okay.
Just say Chad, God. Just say Chad.
Yeah. Who is your favorite of your 3 children? It's me, isn't it? Okay, let me ask you this. What is your proudest moment of each of your kids?
That's hard to pick, Chad. I mean, there's so many
that's why
moments.
It's a good question. You understand?
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'd have to really sit down and think about it if you wanted an honest answer. So I'm just going to tell you like off the top of my head right now.
Yeah.
Roman, clearly, he just went through an entire year of college. Mm-hmm. There were moments where he called us a lot. He struggled sometimes with being alone and not having friends and things. Yeah, it was, how it goes. So, his first year, he started out, kind of iffy and we had to kind of talk him off of a ledge a few times. And now he came home and he's going to get an apartment next year with his best friend roommate. He made all A's and a B. He is going to have an internship. Like he actually wanted to stay. I said, "Are you ready to come home?" He's like, "Not really." So
he's grown up.
Like he met his people. He figured everything out. And I don't know. It was like a moment, I think, where I realized that he'll be okay. Mm-hmm. Like he'll be okay on his own. I don't really have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah. Barring some kind of global catastrophe, which is likely in the next 2 to 5 years.
Sure.
Okay. And how about your daughters?
Let's see. Proudest moments. I don't know. Willow isn't really like a moment. It's like a movement, I guess. She went from very timid, like, I don't know how to talk to people, I don't know how to make friends, just very quiet, to now she's taking like all AP classes. She's very stressed out all the time, but knows how to manage it. She's met all these new friends. Really, just like the last couple of years, she's kind of blossomed into a young adult.
Okay.
And it's hard to watch, but also like it is, I think, my proudest moment because they don't really need me anymore. Like Roman, I feel like he doesn't fucking need me. He does, but not, you know what I mean? Like he can go out and fucking do shit.
Yeah.
That's funny.
He doesn't,
because they will always need you, and then they'll bring little ones back.
Yes, they're always going to need me, and I understand that. But just, they're turning into little fucking people. that
Mhm.
can just go do, and
Yeah.
that's a nice feeling, but also bittersweet. Harper, proudest moment. I don't know. She's also kind of starting high school is a big deal.
Mhm.
It's very hard, new shit. She is the kid that doesn't follow the leader. So
Yeah.
if she sees that shit is bad or wrong, like she's not going to join in. So I think my proudest moments of her are she's like her own little person. I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck what anybody else is doing. I don't care what you fucking think.
Mhm.
She always does the right thing. She's always nice to the kids that are like the outcasts.
Mhm.
So
Do
I've
you
really seen
remember
that kind of.
this? You remember this a long time ago when she was in elementary school? She got in trouble because she stopped. It was out at recess, and she stopped to help a kid that had fallen and put the shoe back on. So then she was late or something coming back into class and got in trouble because she
Mhm.
was late coming into class. She'll always stop and
Mhm.
help someone. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she'll always take the hit to do the right thing, which I think
Hmm.
I don't know, they're all kind of blossoming into these people that I'm proud of.
Mhm.
So I can't really focus on one moment. I think it's just kind of like their whole life leading up to who they are right now has been kind of incredible to watch. They're actually good people.
All right. Now, over the course of your motherhood, Haley, how often have you gotten advice on mothering from mom?
A lot.
Every day.
Some some I take, some I don't.
Yeah, what's the best piece of advice mom has given you?
Like ever?
About mothering, yeah.
I don't know.
One of the top 5, Jesus.
We have talked about Roman lately. We've talked about Willow. I've
Yeah.
talked with Conrad about all of them when he was here.
Yeah, it's hard to narrow down because she's like I constantly get mothering advice literally every day.
Damn.
Do
Mom,
this, don't do this. I don't know.
Until the day I die, you probably will. I've told you that
Mhm.
both. And I try to do that with both of you too, but it's getting harder because I'm getting so tired. I'm getting very tired.
what? You don't give me mothering advice. What are you talking about? I'm not a
I
mother.
used to try to lead you in the right direction
Not
and
mom.
say, "Are you sure you want to do that and all that?" And I said I
What?
would do
With
that
regard to what?
everything, lots of things.
So basically, you have disagreed with all my life decisions. Is that what you're saying?
No, some of them I've tried to steer you a different way. And I'd always say, till the day I die and I'm 6 foot under, you will hear me in your ear and I'll tell you if I don't think it's right. But now it's getting too hard because I'm getting too old.
All right. Did you get mothering advice from your mom?
Not so much from my mom as I did my grandmother. She was more the maternal figure that led me.
Mm-hmm.
I would say my grandmother was. My mom and I butted heads, or she just really wasn't there a lot. She was always off working or doing her own thing. And she was not as warm to me as my grandmother was.
Mm-hmm.
If my mom and I butted heads, I'd go sleep at my grandma's house for the weekend.
And do you know the story of your grandma having her daughters? What that was like for her? And this would have
Um,
been when? In the 20s?
let's see, 30s, yeah,
1930s?
30s. I don't know. I don't know that. I do know that my grandmother was married at the age of 14 to
Mm-hmm.
a man that her family picked out, and he was very mean. He was an alcoholic, and he was also a womanizer.
Mm-hmm.
So she would come home after being married, like some days from, I think she did ironing at a little store or something and clothes. She'd come home. There'd be another woman in bed with him. And he would say, "Shut the door, get out."
Damn.
My grandma lived with him and was married, I think, for 4 to 5 years and had 2 kids with him. That's Nanny and Aunt Virginia. And then because he was an alcoholic, something about, it's written down somewhere. He was drinking by a gas tank outside and blew himself up.
What?
Hell
My
yeah.
grandma probably
Holy
said,
Hell
shit.
adios,
yeah.
adios,
Yes.
amigos.
Wow, that's
His
crazy.
name was George, and he was a mean SOB. That's
Yeah.
all the stories I've ever heard of him. And I do have pictures. From there, she married another man that was a little bit better to her, and he had a little bit more money. but
Mhm.
he was a strange ranger and he
What's that
enjoyed.
mean?
Um, I can see how he looked. He looked real weird. He had like a little tiny black little mustache, kind of like the guy with the top hat. What's that? You know,
The
Charlie Chaplin.
Monopoly man?
yes, he kind of looked like him. His name was Dave. He had several buildings in the little town there. And when they divorced, well, let's go back to my grandmother. I
Mhm.
mean, the first marriage of hers. When that guy started being mean and she had no money and all that, she bootlegged liquor. She
Mhm.
also ironed the clothes. So
Yeah.
she had to learn to take care of herself and my mother and aunt in different ways. So then when she married the second guy, he was kind of nicer to her, but he was just way different. And there were rumors in town that he, anyway, there were rumors that he was a womanizer too. She divorced him.
Mhm.
And from that point forward, that's when she opened her own little store. I wonder where Haley gets some of that from.
Hmm.
So she opened the resale store and sold clothes.
She was an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And then do you know the story of your own birth and your sister's birth from your mom?
Yes, I do know. Yes. Oh gosh. My sister and I were born on the same day, February 24th. She's 3 years older.
Mhm.
She was, let's see, yeah, normal birth. It wasn't anything real bad, except my mother kind of hemorrhaged toward the end.
Hmm.
So that was kind of scary, but she was a normal birth, everything fine, boom. When I came around and was ready to be delivered, they didn't want my mom to hemorrhage again. So they said my mom would have a C-section. And back then, the doctors were like, they didn't have all the x ray machines, I guess, and all the technology that knows exactly when that baby's ready to come out. So the doctor said, "When do you want your baby born?" My mom said, "Oh, it'd be nice if she was born on her sister's birthday, February 24th. Guess what? 5 weeks premature, I was. My dad said
Okay,
they
Yoda.
cut her open, and I came out and looked like a skin blue a rabbit. I was
Five
not ready
weeks
to come out.
premature I was.
So I was premature. My dad said I was blue. I looked like a skin
No.
rabbit. And they held me up and were spanking the crap out of me to get me to breathe.
And they did this
So
specifically
you,
so you would have the same birthday?
Yes. Who
Okay.
so your
cares if I was
birthday
ready to
your
what?
birthday should have been either in March or
Uh-huh.
April.
Yeah, should have been March or April. But they brought me out way too early and I was a skinned blue rabbit.
Now, speaking of same birthdays, there's one thing you didn't mention during my birth. You always told me a story that I could have been born on June 15th, which was your mom's birthday, but you held me in past midnight, in quotes, held me in.
No, I didn't hold you in. The doctor did. That is
Oh,
correct. It
okay.
was 4 minutes till midnight. The
Yeah.
doctor had those forceps. They were in me, and he said, "You can have your baby born on the 15th or the 16th. What do you want?" And I said, "Oh, let's share my mom's birthday right now. Let's get him out the 15th." And then dad and the doctor go, "No, every baby needs their own birthday." They held you in me until a minute after,
Wow.
boom, and then you were born at 12:04.
Nice. All
Haley
right.
9:06 a.m.
Well,
No,
do you
nine
know
sixteen.
do you know any of the lineage, what life was like for anybody before your grandma?
I know my father's parents lived on a farm in Beaver, Kansas,
Mhm.
and barely made it. It was like the dirt devil days and all that. Wasn't good.
Yeah.
My dad ran around out there. Yeah.
But didn't Grandma Gert come from like Volga,
Russia.
Russia?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Came over, I told you, on the ship with her 8 or 9 other siblings on the ship through Ellis Island. They all had to record their names. She had a sister die on the way with chicken pox on the ship. Ugh.
Jesus.
And then they settled in Bazine, Kansas, and became farmers.
Hmm. Let me ask you this
Hmm.
as a mom. What advice would you give for anybody out there who's about to be a mom?
Um, I don't know. It's so different in today's world. I don't know. Make sure you want to have a baby because it's not easy. It's not easy.
Hmm.
And you will need people around to help you in all ways, emotional support, probably financial. Oh my God, I don't even know how much a box of diapers costs now. Do you, Haley?
Mm-mm.
No. There was a day when Dad and I went to school then. Chad, you were 3 months old. We started back our last 2 years at Kansas State. I used to make grocery lists, and that's all we could get. And there was one day I'll never forget. We went into the grocery store, and I said, "We don't have enough money, Bob, for diapers or milk. What do we do?" And he said, "We get the milk. We'll figure out the other end later." And then we went to cloth diapers. For real, Chad. We didn't have
We'll
any
figure out the
money.
other end later.
We get the other
Oh
end
my
later.
God. And
Uh-huh.
shitting has become a real a motif in our family. There's a bunch of weird shit stories that we all can tell.
Oh, yeah.
Haley, if you, and I mean, yeah, I guess I was born shitting, you said as well, right?
Yes, you were.
Yeah. Haley, if you had one piece of advice to give for anybody who's thinking about becoming a mom, what would it be in 2024?
I mean, it's not a one size fits all. I don't know. I thoroughly enjoyed being a mom. I was afforded the luxury to be a stay at home mom.
Mhm.
CETA made enough money that we could pay rent, buy food, and take care of kids. And so I was able to stay home and raise them. And to this date, today, I can say that so far has been the best part of my life.
Mhm.
So I mean, I don't know. You can't really tell somebody who doesn't want to stay home to stay home, but
Mhm.
I guess my advice would be to stay home and raise your kids if you can, because for me, I have the fondest memories of that time. I miss it.
Mm. Mom, do you miss that time?
Every day.
No shit.
If I could go back, I would.
Let me
Yeah.
ask you this. Do you in any way lament the fact that I'm never going to have children?
Makes my heart sad a little bit, but if
Why is
that's what
that?
you, because our name will never go on now, our
The
last
name
name.
is arbitrary. Names are bullshit anyway.
No, they're not. Our last name means something to me, means something
Oh,
to your dad.
okay. Fair enough.
Unless maybe
And
maybe one of Haley's kids will name him Kultgen something.
interesting.
They're,
But I mean
First
the
name?
genetics go on. The lineage of the family does go on through Haley's kids, whether the name is there or not.
I guess it's the stopping of the name. Yeah.
But the name is in our specific case pretty arbitrary anyway because that's not dad's genetic last name.
I know. I know that.
So then what
But
does it
you
matter?
are our only son,
Yeah.
and through the son, that's where it goes through and on usually.
But
Yeah.
I've written movies, TV shows, books. These will outlive
I know.
any human children that any of us could sire.
You are correct that your mother was never in. So that will be good.
You were in Men, Women, and Children, the movie. Whether you
I
made the
was
cut or
not.
not isn't up to me. I got you
I
on the
was
set and I
not.
got you in a shot.
I
The
was
fact that
not.
you couldn't deliver the goods on the acting is not my
Uh,
fault.
uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Now we've talked a lot about motherhood on this beautiful Mother's Day 2024. We've talked nothing about politics. I wanted to ask you both. We'll start with you, Mom. We've kind of gone through your experiences as a mother with a daughter who is also having kids. Do political opinions at all come into this? Have you thought about politics once since we started this conversation?
No.
Haley, have you?
Yeah.
You have?
What?
Yeah.
What?
What were you thinking about? What specifically?
Well, I have people in my bakery that want to have children.
Yeah.
And whenever, there's a couple of us that are moms in the bakery, and whenever we talk about kids, I look at them and I can see anger, sorrow,
Mhm.
because the world that we live in isn't the same world that I was living in when I had a kid. And you can now be prosecuted for things beyond your control. You potentially might have your kid taken away if you have a trans wife or you're gay. Like, there's all of these things that come into play now that never occurred to me when I was having children. And so whenever I talk about pregnancy and babies, specifically in the bakery setting, like, there are people that get upset, so I have to
Mhm.
stop talking about it. So talking about it here, just in the back of my mind, it made me think of those people in my bakery and how this is actually a quite painful conversation for them to even hear.
Right. Interesting. So Mother's
very
Day, you
cool.
think for people in your bakery is a bad day potentially?
Yeah, I do.
Dad and I went to the grocery store early this morning. As we're going through, there's hardly anybody in there. The little check lady goes, "Happy Mother's Day." I said, "Thank you. Happy Mother's Day to you." She said, "Well, I don't have any children." I said, "Do you have any animals?" She said, "Yes, I have a dog." I said, "Well, then you're a mother. You're a
Mhm.
mother to your pet. Happy Mother's Day." She goes, "Oh, thank you. You can be a mother to four-legged
Oh,
animals."
then I am a father.
Yes, you are.
I have a
You
cat
have a
who drinks
cat.
my blood on an almost daily basis.
You have a
Um,
kitty.
Let me ask you this then. Now, Mom, you said during this whole conversation you weren't thinking at all about politics. Has that been a reprieve? How often do you think about politics,
No,
generally speaking?
every day.
Kind of constantly?
I just can't. I asked Dad the other day, how many more months? He said, I think 5.5 till we have our new
Until the
president,
election.
hopefully. Yeah.
I was like, what does that mean? Until he goes into a mall with a machine gun? What do you mean?
Oh, that is not nice until we have Donald Trump back on
Right.
as our president.
Well, I mean, not to break the subject of Mother's Day, I do want to keep this a nice, cordial conversation to celebrate motherhood and everything that you've given us as a mom, everything, Haley, that you've given to your kids and all of that. But I do want to ask you, have you been following the trial, the Trump trial?
Yes.
And Haley, have you?
Mm-hmm.
With like a pretty high degree of scrutiny? Are you watching what all the witnesses are saying and who's been called and what Trump's doing in the courtroom and all that?
For the most
I
part,
watch
yeah.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you think the trial is going now? We are, I believe, 3 weeks into it. I think that's right. And the Stormy Daniels testimony has been incredibly damaging to Donald Trump. I think everybody universally agrees about that. How do you think it's going, Mom?
I think that it's going to be a mistrial. I
I
think
do
she's a
too.
liar. I'm not saying she's lying about all the sexual stuff that she's thrown out there that they did. I just think she's a liar. And
But do you think he's a liar, Trump?
I have no idea. I maybe to some degree what's going on, but
Mhm.
he's caught in a trap where he did. I don't know if he did or not, because that lady is a liar. She even said in a testimony early on that it didn't happen. Now she's saying it did happen. Now she's saying
What
that
did she say didn't happen?
this whole thing, it was written down somewhere.
Okay. So you're saying based on the fact that she's in quotes a liar,
Well,
it should be
her story's going back and forth. What happened? What didn't happen?
yeah.
I think they're just gonna. I don't know. I don't see it harming him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it harming him. I don't see it helping him either. But
Yeah. I think the most likely outcome is a hung jury, and that's going to be that. And then they'll have to retry it, 2 years from now or whatever. Haley, you've been following it. What do you think, generally speaking? Do you think it's going good for Trump or bad?
I mean, I think it's going bad. I talked to one of my friends the other day that is like a pretty hard Trump supporter, and she's like, "Yeah, I don't want to vote for anyone." So I
agree.
feel like it's getting to some people, and they're like, "I don't fucking know what to do for
Yeah.
elections."
I completely agree. It's very difficult to watch all the things that are going on right now. We've got Trump, who is in my opinion, losing a federal criminal case against him currently.
Yeah.
And wearing diapers and smelling like shit. All that's coming back. Everybody in the courtroom now just says that he smells like ass all the time, that he's farting and his diapers are full.
God.
He's wearing diapers now. Who told you
Yeah.
that one?
Google this. There are people at Trump rallies with shirts that say "Real men wear diapers. My president wears diapers." The MAGA or Maja or QAnon, whatever you want to call it,
MAGA.
they're fully embracing this. Yes, Google it.
Well,
I'm not lying to you about this.
Google his last rally in New Jersey. 100,000 people there to support him. 100,000 at a
Look,
rally.
that's fine.
Biden is lucky to get 5 people show up
Yes.
at the telephone.
Well, that was my
place.
second point. I watched the entire interview with Aaron Burnett that he did on MSNBC, and it's terrible. The sit down interview is okay, but then he kind of like walks around with her a little bit. He's standing 6 inches from her. She's kind of visibly off put by him. Like,
Who?
Aaron Burnett,
With who?
Joe
Trump?
Biden.
Oh, Biden. Yeah.
He's leaning in. He's talking like this. We've got to stop Donald Trump.
Okay, I'm gonna have to
If we
Google the
don't
diaper.
stop,
I have to Google
he
diapers when
is
we
the
get
guy
done.
he says he is. I mean, it's just like
Yeah,
this
so
raspy dead man walking. And then your third choice is Kennedy Jr., who his biggest claim to fame now is that he
he's
said he
got
has a
hole
fucking
in his
brain
fucking
worm.
brain.
He's got a worm in his brain.
You've got a man who is losing a federal criminal trial that wears diapers and shits his pants. You've
I
got
can't believe
a
the diapers. I
fucking
haven't heard that
corpse
one.
walking around that can barely string a sentence together, and you've got a man who has a brain worm that has eaten holes through his head. Those are your
Oh.
choices for the American presidential election 2024. I don't know how it got to this point. I don't know how America became this. It's unreal. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
You
Capitalism.
didn't bring up horse face. Now, I would like to say, I
Who?
can't even do her. She's terrible.
Horseface.
Horseface Harris.
Oh, she's not running for president. I'm just saying that I think this is all because of capitalism. Money has corrupted everything in this country, and it's how you get somebody like Donald Trump, even possibly to be elected president. It's how you get somebody like Joe Biden to stay president, because the money machine that is just turning out money for all the people who support either of these candidates is continuing to turn out that money. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the more corrupt it can be, the more money people can make off of it. And I don't know. I mean, this seems to me, no matter who wins, that this is like America is pretty
We
much
all
dead.
lose.
Here's what
Mhm.
I don't understand. Okay, we have the Met Gala with all those people and the
Mm.
expensive jewelry and the clothes. That one lady had to be hoisted up each step she took or whatever.
Mm.
I saw part of it. I'm just like laughing, saying, "Oh my God!" And we still have prisoners in
It's
a
Hunger
foreign
Games.
country, that no one gives a shit about anymore.
Prisoners in a
president
foreign
does.
country. We have prisoners in our own country that no one gives a shit about, because it's a for-profit endeavor. The criminal industry in the United States of America, specifically prisons, they get paid money by the government, and in some cases by the families of the prisoners. I mean, like if you want to make a phone call if you're in jail, that's going to cost your family $50. How many phone calls do you want to make while you're in there for 10 years, you know? It's a for-profit industry. It behooves the people who own the prisons to have them completely packed, and that is it. That's how this country works.
I know, and all the homeless people out on the sidewalk. What did those Met Gala people do?
Exactly.
Just kick them aside and go in?
Yes, it is
This
Hunger
almost,
Games.
yeah, this almost reminds me of like a science fiction, not science fiction,
Yes,
but into the
called
future.
Hunger
Hunger
Games.
Games.
That's what I'm
Into-
saying.
Into the future
It's-
movie where you know the rich don't give a shit about the
Yeah, it's
people
the
out on
Hunger
the
Games.
sidewalk.
I can't keep saying it enough. That's literally
It's
the
all
Hunger
over
Games.
TikTok.
Yes.
Are you on TikTok? Like, there's memes about it all over TikTok. They're
I'm
like,
on
what sector
TikTok,
are you
but
in?
I haven't Googled that. What do I Google to see?
Hunger
Just
Games.
Hunger Games or
Yeah, Hunger Games, United States political system. I mean, it's the same thing that happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner a couple of weeks
When
ago.
they
We talked
yelled.
about this a little bit, I
Uh-huh.
think, on this show. There were
Uh-huh.
protesters outside protesting the fact that like 100 Palestinian journalists have been killed in the war in Gaza right now. And all of these,
God.
like, you know, people in their black ties, and Colin Jost is hosting, just like stepping over protesters who were laying on the ground pretending to
Yeah.
be dead bodies and
Ugh.
screaming shame on you in their faces, and they're just like ignore it's like the
It's
world is
sad.
falling apart, but the people who still benefit at the very top levels from the capitalist system, the
Doesn't matter.
capitalist structure, they don't give a fuck. They do
I
not
know.
care. And I
I
think
know.
that is ultimately why the country is so fucked right now. And I would put Trump at the top of that list. I would put Biden at the top of that list.
You better put him up there. God.
They don't care. But I mean, that's the thing. Like, you guys are enthusiastically going to vote for Trump this time around, and he
And
just
so are
doesn't
you.
care. Not
so are
enthusiastically.
you.
I'm doing it begrudgingly, as a
Uh-huh.
gift
No, you're
to
doing
my
it 'cause
father.
to keep a promise.
Yeah. By the way, I have a Father's Day gift for Dad. So on the Father's Day episode, he's got to be here. Um, yeah, I'm doing it to keep a promise, and it was a gift to Dad. I'm simply saying that I think this country, for all that is beautiful on this Mother's Day 2024, we are in a position that, like you're saying, Haley, it's a different world from when you had kids. The amount of change that I've seen in my lifetime, and granted, when you're a little kid, like when I was a kid in the 80s and shit, I'm not paying attention to politics. But even once I
Mm-hmm.
started kind of paying attention to politics, I would say somewhere around the end of high school, maybe, things were not like this. This is
Mm-mm.
by far the worst it has ever been in my lifetime, and I think the closest to the brink of complete failure we have ever been as a society in terms of America. Um, that said, I wasn't
I think,
alive during like the Kennedy assassination. You were, Mom.
yeah, but people, even during that time, people were not so mean and ugly to each other.
Hmm.
There are so many mean people out there now. Like, it doesn't matter what you say, somebody can get you back. It's weird. I don't like the feeling. People are mean. They're mean.
Yeah.
Whether you're driving a car and you flip someone off, or they flip you off, or they're just mean people.
Or you
Yeah.
tell your children that when the metal hits the meat, that he might have to take you out. I mean, Dad is one of
Mhm.
these mean people you're talking about.
Okay, here's the deal. Your dad probably has 7 or 8 good years left to live. He's going
Okay.
down fast. Let me tell you right now. It's
Jesus
not good.
Christ! Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, it's not.
All
That's
right.
why he's not here now. He's
Yeah.
not feeling good at all. He's going back to physical therapy. I'm going to go too, because that's the only way he would go. So we're both going together, but that's okay. I need help. My thumbs hurt. My hip flexors hurt. That's what I told my doctor, which they do. So I'm going to get some physical therapy while he goes back.
Yeah.
He fell again. You know that. So,
Yeah.
yep.
And what did that have to do with the American political system? And
You
his
were trying to
meanness?
say he's mean.
You don't think he
He's
is? He's prided himself on that his entire life, not just now.
He acts that way, but deep down inside, he's not. And you guys know that.
Yeah, maybe.
You know that.
I don't know.
His OCD does take over. And when the OCD
Yeah.
takes over, he does go into a crazy man mode. And yeah,
Crazy man mode. That's a good name for a movie or something.
nutty professor mode.
Um,
But once the OCD thing, whatever it is
Yeah.
back to normal, he comes back to normal. It's
right.
weird. It's weird.
Well, we are nearing the end of the show. Thank you both for joining me today to discuss Mother's Day. Mom, I just want to say I love you and thank you for everything you've done for me and for Haley, who is the ungrateful one here. I am the better child. Thank you for everything that you have done for me over the years as a mom. I know that you and Dad, as you said, were broke when you first had me. Your decision to have me, though. But nonetheless, you guys powered through to give me a pretty good life as a little kid, despite some psychological abuses. But again,
Oh
you were
my
young.
God.
you were young.
my
You didn't
God.
know any better.
Yeah, I forgot to burp you, and I didn't even know about burping, and I had to rush you to the doctor. I said he's very ill. He's projective vomiting, just projectile vomiting. Help me. And the doctor said, "Are you burping your baby?" I said, "No."
Well, there you go.
Young
Some
mother.
physical
Damn.
abuses as well. But despite all of that, I just want to thank you for the job you did. I feel like I'm a generally happy person, or at least nihilistically detached person, which is as close to happiness as most people can get these days, I think. So I thank you for that, and for the childhood you gave me, and for the adulthood you continue to be a part of. And yeah, I love you, and I hope that you have a happy Mother's Day today. And
Thank you.
Haley, as my sister and a mother, I say I love you, and I hope that you have a good Mother's Day today too. Do either of you have anything fun planned?
No.
Okay, that's just dead silence. All right.
We're going out. We're going out to see Shiny.
Nice.
I don't have to do my household chores today. So that's
Thank you
good.
for my gifts, Chad. You are always right on. He will either ask me for a link or exactly what I want. So I just go ahead and tell him these days. He got me a whole bunch of gift certificates to a flower nursery that I adore. I'll go get a bunch of flowers. Haley gave me all the goods from the bakery. So much sugar in my house, I could have a coma right now. And a beautiful flower arrangement came also. Thank you for my gifts. I love you both. I think about you both every day.
As do we you.
I don't know about that.
Haley, any final words on this Mother's Day?
God damn. Gotta follow up. Dad's dying in 7 years. And mom crying. God. No, yeah, I love you. I do think about you every day. I tell the kids funny anecdotes about you almost every day. They text you and shit all the time. We always think about you.
They don't text
Okay.
me.
Dad said, you're.
I try to say
you're
happy
very-
birthday to him and shit, and it's like, that's just never going to work. I call him up on their birthdays. Hi, this is your Uncle Chad. It's just dead silence, and they're okay.
They're the generation that they don't talk on the phone. That's not a thing. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, thank you for everything. Like Chad said, our childhood was great. I don't we got spanked. We got
Sure, let's call it that.
What did you say, Chad?
Mostly by dad.
Yeah.
Got baseballs
Mostly
in the
by
head.
dad.
Yeah, baseballs in the head.
But,
had to sleep in my football helmet. Go in the garage and swing the baseball bat 1,000 times in fucking 150-degree Texas summer heat. Sure.
That was mostly dad. Mostly dad.
I couldn't catch you guys to give you spankings. I couldn't catch you to give you spankings. You'd run from me.
I have a lot of fond memories with mom, like the fucking tennis thing.
Yeah.
And I remember her taking us to the public pool, and I'd eat like fucking Snickers bars and get on the little floaty raft and shit. I have lots of good memories.
Yeah,
from
I remember that
childhood.
Amarillo public pool, going to the 7-Eleven every day pretty much for one summer.
In
we
the
did
summer.
that. And I would always get a pack of Sport Flicks baseball cards.
Yeah, you've got all those baseball cards in our garage. You got to get them out of there.
I will.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, so.
Yeah, we still have
good
your
childhood.
shit in our garage. You guys are what, 48 and
Almost. I'm not quite 48.
you're almost 48 in June, and Haley is 45?
3.
3. Oh,
3.
okay.
We're 5 years apart.
More. And I have some of your high school stuff still in our garage, and all those baseball cards. We got to get them out of there.
I know. It'll happen. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today on this Mother's Day. We hope everybody out there has a great Mother's Day of their own, whether you're celebrating with your children or your mother or your pets or whatever kind of thing may be. We thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week. Did we already tell each other we all love each other? I love you, Mom. I love you, Haley. Wherever Dad is, I love him too.
Yeah.
Love you, Mom. Love you, Chad. Tell Dad I love him.
Oh, well, he's ate all that pie up already, one whole pie. I love you, Chad. I love you, Haley.
All right. We'll see you next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.